In the know.
Good evening, everyone.
In the know.
Tony Reeves, fire. Following the news in any way, shape, or form. No shortage of things to talk about. What does it mean? What will it bring? This is a reality we simply have to accept. Tony Reeves, fire. Tony Reeves. Let's go ahead.
Surviving the disability process. Finding medical treatment. All right, let's talk about the harsh reality. Real talk. You've lost your insurance. You used to work, now you're no longer working. You used to have insurance, now you have no insurance. So now you're saying to yourself, I can't find any medical treatment. What do I do? First of all, I want you to recognize one fundamental fact. When you're going to a hearing, be advised that the court is going to be aware of whatever resources that are available in your area, especially unless it's a video hearing and you're dealing with a judge that's out of the state. Most of the judges in your area are very sensitive and, more importantly, aware of what resources that are immediately available to you. So that's important. The reason why it's important is because if they know, you need to make sure that you know so that you can demonstrate to Social Security that you've made every effort to avail yourself of those resources. So what does that mean? That means health department. That means charities. That means free clinics. That means reduced care clinic. You'd be surprised if you go to the health department. They have it lists. A lot of these guys keep a list of all of these different providers because they are used to. They are the source for public services. I mean, for public public benefits. So public service. They're a public service organization that for public benefits. They're going to have access and they're going to have connections to all these different places. So the Affordable Care Act, you want to make sure that you avail yourself of all of these resources. Don't just gloss over them. And more importantly, don't run into your hearing saying, oh, I can't find anything. Because remember, like I said before, Social Security is aware of what's in your area. So you want to make sure that you have not only gone to those, but that you've availed yourself of all of them so that you can tell Social Security that you've given it your best effort. Now, when we get back, we're going to talk about some of the pitfalls and, more importantly, some other last-minute tips with regards to what does it mean to survive the process and finding medical treatment.
Under the Social Security regulations, representatives are permitted to practice before the administrative agency anywhere in the country, which means that when you're looking for a representative, you can find someone who doesn't necessarily have to be in your state if you're just going before the administrative agency. So it's possible to have an attorney or representative who's from Utah, even though you may be in Georgia. And our office is actually no different. So if you're wondering which states we cover, check this out. Now, the tricky part is once you have to sue the Social Security Administration. Under that situation, you want to have an attorney that's representing you in your jurisdiction. So if you have a representative who's in another state and you've gone all the way to the Appeals Council and you've been denied and you want to sue the Social Security Administration, make sure you ask that representative whether or not they can sue someone in that particular state.
All right. You're trying to survive the disability process. Let's just call it like it is. We know what's going on. You've lost your job because you can't work because of your disability. Guess what? COBRA payments, no COBRA payments anymore. You don't have long-term disability. You weren't injured, so there's no personal injury claim going. You didn't have workers' comp. You're not a veteran. You have no insurance. So now you're just trying to get in where you fit in. So you're utilizing as much information as you possibly can. You're going to charity clinics, you're going to free clinics, you're going to the health department. There's some time, the reality is I tell people, getting treatment from some place is better than having no treatment from any place. Let me say this again. I tell people, having treatment from some place is better than having no treatment from any place. So, what are some of your pitfalls about utilizing a lot of these services? The harsh reality is that there's gaps in treatment. You got to remember, these are providers that are providing treatment to those people who, in a lot of cases, either have low income or no income. There's a lot of people out there who are struggling. And unfortunately, they're all trying to get the same treatment that you're trying to get. In some instances, it appears that it's more about maintenance and less about the treatment. What do you mean by maintenance? Well, there are people who will tell you, "Oh, I'm going to the doctor and she is just giving me medication and that's it." Doesn't feel like you're getting treatment. Nobody's sending you any therapist. Nobody's sending you for any special treatment. Nobody's sending you for any test. All they're doing is giving you medication. That's just the nature of the beast. There are a lot of patients, so you're in line with a lot of people. That's the one thing that's tough about not having insurance. When you don't have any insurance, you're limited in terms of who you can go to. So you're going to places where everybody else is in the exact same spot. A lot of times these providers, they're seeing so many people, they don't necessarily have the time to write down the limitations. So when you need a doctor, write down what you can and can't do. They may not have the time. But again, like I said, having some treatment is better than no treatment. Okay. If you find yourself in the position where you're trying to survive and you're trying to get whatever treatment you can possibly can, make sure you document everything you do. Make sure if you go someplace and they tell you that your share cost is $200, which means you've got to basically pay up to $200 your deductible, and then once you hit $200, then at that point they take over. If you know you can't do that, you need to make sure you document and show that you can't do that. Keep in mind, I always tell people, this is how you trick yourself. You go to court telling the government that, "Oh, I can't afford that." And then they ask you, "Do you smoke cigarettes?" Yeah, about a pack a day. Amazing. All the money you could use saved up on smoking cigarettes, you could have put towards going to your treatment. And I know that sounds condescending, but that's kind of how they look at it. So be mindful of that. Remember, every state is different. I cannot tell you the number of times I get people who relocate from one state that has awesome public service benefits to a state that sucks. And then they get mad. I said, I hate to be the bearer of bad news. You probably should have researched that before you relocated, because you cannot assume that every treatment regimen for a particular geographical area is going to be the same. It's just not. I know it's a tough thing, and I always tell people it's a marathon, not a sprint. But make sure you do your due diligence. Research all the resources that are available so that you can do what you can to present your case in the best light possible.
I want to thank all of you for engaging in the videos. Make sure you take the opportunity to send me any comments or send me any particular questions that you want me to have addressed here. As you know, this show is for you. And so the only way I can make sure that I can provide you some good information is if you provide me some good questions. Keep them coming, and right here on Q&A, Social Security Disability Today.